And I rode with him from there to his house and bought a pink marble, if I can find it here and show you.
How much is a marble? Uh-oh, you done lost your marbles.
Yeah.
So you were telling me you play marbles. And how do you play marbles?
Well, you got a round sphere made of glass, or like we use in most of our games, native stones such as chert or flint, and other materials such as chalcedony and jasper are utilized to make marbles.
How did you get to playing marbles?
Generational.
Generational?
My grandpa used to make marbles, and when he'd get back from the log woods, he'd go play at New Hope. Let me back up and replant and say that every little community, if there was a church was used as a school, there was also a marble yard.
Yes.
Or if this little community had a general store that people congregated at, they would have a marble yard there. So every little community you go to had a marble yard. And if not, the kids would make one on the side, because in those days, most people didn't let kids play. The men dominated it, the men played, and when the men were done playing, kids could get on the yard.
The kids could play.
And
it's kind of like playing horseshoes in other parts of the country.
exactly, which horseshoes has kind of made a big steep curve into cornhole nowadays, is what they call it, or bags or whatever. But my grandpa would back up a truck, put it on blocks, and spin the rocks out and make marbles. But he'd also take a piece of flint to the logwoods with him in a file every day. And when he was taking a break or somebody was, they just wasn't exactly active and working, he would form that marble. He would grind certain parts of it off till he could get it to where he could shape it into a marble. And I got to hear Daddy tell about stories about that. And when he was a young man, his father passed away, and he started hanging out with a man named Bud Garett. And Bud Garett was an African-American man in the community of Free Hills in Clay County, and he was the one that we give credit to for revolutionizing making marbles with a motor.
Oh, wow.
He would take a motor out of a washer or a dryer, and then he would put a belt on it, put a grind rock on it, a rubber wheel, and he would grind out the stones to get them to a small size, to get them to the rubber wheel to where he could true them up into a perfect sphere.
I mean, the idea that you could get a rock into a perfect circle with something else that's square, I mean, that's pretty innovative.
Oh yeah, and because of Bud Garett, there's 4 vendors here that do it the same way. My daddy still makes marbles. The King brothers up in Tompkinsville, they make marbles. There are a lot more marble makers now than when I started 6 years ago.
Well, like we were talking about before, it's like all these people are coming here, and like the old is new again.
Yes.
And it's like those lost sort of things where people connect, because like you can't connect the same way on Facebook, like.
I'll give you a perfect example. I work in retail at a hardware store. Had a fella that come in and said, "Yes, I would like some stain this morning." I said, "Oh, where are you from?" "London, England."
Yeah.
I said, "Okay." I said, we got to talking, and I got to mentioning that we had a British marble game that originated over in England that we played here. He said, he started reminiscing. He said, "We used to shoot up against a fence." You can bring most people back to their childhood or bring them to a common ground by bringing up marbles.
The name of my marketing company is called Rabbit Circle, because I went rabbit hunting with my granddaddy.
Yeah.
And a rabbit will go in a circle and it goes back to where it came from. But people are like, "Oh my gosh, that's such a creative name. Where did you hear it?" I'm like, that's old.
Part of my life.
That's old.
It's just like they asked me here a while back to speak at the Putnam County Historical Society in November, and he said, "Well, we're going to start promoting it, but we need a name. We need a name for your talk." I said, "Okay." Out Around.
Out Around.
And he said, "I can work with that." And he called me back that night and he said, "We renamed it." I said, "Oh." I said, "What do you rename it?" Out Around, Ruminations of a Rolley Hole Marble Champion. So is this the notes for...
Alright guys, there is no practice lag, it's on lag.
See the line?
No? Yes.
30 foot there.
1, 2, flag.
Blow, wind, blow.
Wheel.
Keep it blowing. Keep it blowing. Oh, gotta be mine. Gotta be mine.
I told a kid today that was playing, I said, talk to your marble. Let's do something if you talk to it. You get that back however you want to. Position it. The center one has to stay, isn't it? Like 1 foot here, 1 foot here. You want me to do it?
Yeah, yeah.
Ladies on the steamboat. This was recorded by Burnett and Rutherford, Dick Burnett and Leonard Rutherford in the 1920s. Clyde Davenport knew them personally, and he learned this.
I spin my marble like that.
But,
Now, my next
I hope you
question.
enjoyed it. It used to be a good old-fashioned dance too. And some of y'all might be wondering why we don't have a guitar and a bass and everything. Well, nobody else wanted to play with us.
So what else should I know about here that I don't even have sense enough to ask? The other gentleman was telling me that you can come and play pickup marbles somewhere.
What's going on me?
Well, like you can just come and play marbles. Like there's a building in Salina.
Yeah, we have a marble. We call it a marble yard.
Okay.
But yeah, we play Rolley Hole in it, not any evening. In the winter time where we have a wood stove, you'll see a lot more of our youth in the communities come into the marble yard in the winter time, because in the summertime they're fishing or riding around or doing this. In the winter time, we know where young boys are most of the time. They're at the marble yard. We have a wood stove. They're at the marble yard. They're playing marbles. They're not wasting gas. They're not on the roads. So that's one thing I always try to make stand out. We do this for multiple reasons, carrying on a tradition. Keep kids out of trouble. Give them something to do. And I thought another perspective in for you. Imagine you're in high school and you've been the star quarterback for 3 years, and you graduate high school and you don't have any college aspirations whatsoever. You kind of feel down. What am I going to do now? Golf? A lot of these boys were quarterbacks and star football, basketball players. When they graduate high school, they come to marbles. It's a way for them to retain that little bit of glory that they had in high school, or that feeling. It's something to keep them out of trouble.
Yeah, well, I mean, but it's a good way for people to connect.
Oh, yes.
It's not sitting in a bar. It's not sitting in a church pew. It's somewhere in the middle.
Yep. And it's nature. You're on the dirt, playing with rocks right out of the field and
girls
creeks.
play?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are there's about 4, 5, 6 girls that play, not regularly, but there's 1 or 2 that play more regularly than others.
We have a lot of people that are moving here from other places. Like we're being overrun sometimes.
There was a fellow that just stopped me up there in the parking lot while getting something to eat from Vermont, and he said, "We're here for one reason." I said, "What's that?" He said, "We seen your segment on CBS." And I said, "We didn't know what marbles was, so we come all the way down here from Vermont." I got some publicity because of marbles. But that publicity, I was able to turn it around for a play of words and get somebody else interested in marbles. It brought somebody here. And I'm proud because this being the 40th year that we've hosted this tournament, the turnout is fantastic. This has been one of the bigger tournaments I've been to. And also,
I think people are coming back.
yes, they are.
You know, like they move here, they come here for this utopian idea of what it means to be from Tennessee, like this rural country, living like slower. And then when they get here, at first, it's like when I brought her here, it's like they're like bored. Because they don't realize it, so you have to slow down. Like
Kids in the South had to be innovative in the way they entertain themselves, because what is the other thing you would do besides entertainment?
work, yeah.
And there are two other people that I have to give credit to because it's absolutely deserved on preserving this, I'm going to say our heritage. And he is just right around the corner over there. Hey, Shawn. I'm talking about you. Are your ears burning? No, I want you to come here if you can. You may be busy.
He's hiding.
Oh, I'm getting somebody that I didn't realize you were doing.
It's all right. But I wanted to give you credit because I feel like you deserve as much credit as anybody for keeping this going.
Just doing my job.
You do it well.
Shawn Hughes, we wouldn't have, I don't feel like this tournament would be continuing if it hadn't been for him standing up at different times and making sure things are done a certain way.
Thank you. Yeah, I love. It wouldn't be alive if you guys didn't come play. So
We
that's.
appreciate that.
How long have you been at the park?
I've been full time at San Antonio for 23, almost 23 years. So then I worked here as a kid since I was 16, 5 summers, and 2 summers at Round Mountain.
So you just stayed.
And the marble players usually get along very well. And they can disagree every now and again about the change of the rules, but there's one thing that they are all in agreement with. Sean's in charge of it, and he needs to be.
You're in charge. You're the man.
And he's the man in charge of Marble Day here.
I just try to help out and try to help the marbles continue forever here, and hope there's a place to play. And
Well, now that I know there's a place, well, I grew up in Robertson County, which is one county over, or maybe 2. Macon and Clay and then Robertson, Sumner. I guess that'd be 3. Just keep counting. But I didn't know this was up here. I mean, we get to Clay County and go to the lake and we